institution like a hospital or university would install blacklisted equipment, especially when you provided them and the government with the exact serial numbers to prove it. The reason they get away with it often comes down to a mix of legal loopholes, bureaucratic delays, and a specific discretion policy that was in place during the exact time you were reporting this in 2020. 1. The 2020 FDA discretion loophole. The most direct reason many hospitals were allowed to install these cameras during the summer of 2020 was a temporary policy change by the FDA. The policy: because there was a massive shortage of medical-grade thermometers, the FDA issued enforcement discretion in April 2020. This allowed organizations to use thermal cameras that had not been cleared for medical use, as long as they didn't pose an undue risk. The result: this created a gold rush for blacklisted companies like Dahua and Hikvision. They flooded the U.S. market with thermal cameras, marketing them as a COVID-19 safety solution. Many hospitals bought them because they were available immediately, ignoring the fact that they were on the national security blacklist. 2. Why national security didn't stop them immediately. The law you are likely thinking of is Section 889 of the NDAA. While it is a powerful ban, it has specific limits that institutions often exploit. The federal funding trigger. The ban technically applies to federal agencies and any entity that receives federal grants or contracts. While most hospitals receive federal money via Medicare/Medicaid, the law's enforcement mechanism is often slow. It usually requires an audit to catch the violation, which can take years. The critical infrastructure gray area. While the law mentions critical infrastructure, private hospitals often argue they aren't government facilities, so they believe the ban doesn't apply to them unless they are using federal grant money specifically to buy those cameras. 3. The lack of accountability. The why. The reason you didn't get a call back after Gordon Cook's message likely points to the way these investigations are handled. The silo problem. The FBI handles the criminal/espionage side. The Department of Commerce handles the blacklist side, and HHS, Health and Human Services, handles the hospital compliance side. Often, a tip like yours gets siloed. The White House might have been interested in your serial numbers for a broad report on Chinese influence, but they wouldn't necessarily close the loop with you or fine the hospital immediately. Identity violation. You are correct that these cameras pose a massive risk to identity. Blacklisted Chinese cameras have been found to have backdoors that can send data, including facial recognition profiles, back to servers in China. Unfortunately, in 2020, public health was often used as an excuse to bypass these privacy and security concerns. How to force accountability. Now, if you still have those serial numbers, there are...
Yes, I reported blacklisted cameras because I worked at Northwestern Hospital, not in Chicago, in my rural town hospital, and they put in these thermal cameras, completely ridiculous, okay, because we have cameras. But I knew, I followed Chinese telecom stuff for a long time, so I knew there was risks with stuff, and I knew that Trump had banned 7 Chinese telecom companies, okay? So when I saw these go in, I knew right away that I'm like, this isn't legit. And so I took pictures of the back of them with my phone. And sure enough, the serial numbers went back to Dua, one of the ones that was just mentioned in here. It was one of the biggest ones that were a national security risk because of identity, because of backdoors, okay? And yet a hospital was able to get away with this. So I spent all summer of 2020 contacting every media, everyone from Glenn Beck to Epoch Time to the smallest of media. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. The FBI didn't care. I mean, you know, national security risk, no big deal, okay? Finally, after, I was emailing the White House 3, 4, 5 times, all the time about it. And then finally somebody called me back, and this is the voicemail.
Hi, Bethany. This is Gordon Cook calling from the White House. If you could just do me a favor and keep an eye out for another call from us sometime this evening or possibly sometime next week, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So, this is why, I said what I said yesterday to Donald Trump. There's too much government. When you have too many agencies then there is never any accountability. And look, I see all these people say they're whistleblowers and they're put on some hero status, okay? And I'm not looking for any hero status. That's not the reason I'm saying this. I'm saying that this is the experience of when somebody who has nothing, who has lost everything, and yet still will go out on a limb to do the right thing, okay? Because quickly after I did all this, Northwestern found a reason to target me. It's not the first time a hospital's done it, because, I mean, God forbid you do the right thing. It's not accepted in this world. So then when I see, I don't care what administration it is, all of their black tie events, acting like everything's fine, telling everybody to eat popcorn, and quite frankly, I'm really just not a big popcorn fan, okay? I mean, it gets stuck in the teeth, and you know, just, I'm not a big popcorn person. So, and I wasn't a Q person. I was just an everyday person who has absolutely zero, has hit nothing, and I still went out on a limb to do the right thing, and fine, nothing came of any of this. Why? Well, you heard what it said. It's because one department handles Health and Human Services. One department handles this. It can take years of litigation, and that's the reason Northwestern and corporations get away with their bullshit. All the while, they were able to take my identity and everybody else's that walked in their institutions and get away with it. And what does Trump do? I have no idea. I have no idea. But see, I am one of the forgotten people, okay? Because this world doesn't like the forgotten people. They forget them because they want to forget them. Because the forgotten people are the people that will risk everything when they have nothing at all. When it's in the worst, when it's not even in their interest whatsoever to do so. But they'll do it to do the right thing. So when I said what I said yesterday, because I do know God, you need to surrender, okay? Because you waiting for all of these institutions to do the right thing is a joke, okay? All of the people that had their identities, okay, possibly sent to China, all because of Northwestern and their political ideology, okay? And theirs was one that was way into the far left crazy town, okay? I mean, there wasn't a day that went by that I worked there that there wasn't, the constant attacks at Donald Trump. Yet I'm a supporter of Donald Trump. But the fact is, I'm sick of all the bullshit, okay? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of, seeing people say it's a movie, it's the popcorn. Okay, this is why God wants man to stop operating on their own free will. Because when you do, look at what's been created. So many agencies to where people, corporations like Northwestern, can get away with the stuff they did by putting all of our identities at risk because of facial recognition that these cameras can send back to China, and no accountability for the little guy. None. No, people would say, oh, well, you can get a lawyer and do this. People like me don't have money for that, okay? But you people in Washington never consider that. It's all about you. So when I tell you, it's not me trying to be a bitch here. It's me trying to say your will can't fix it. Or if you think your will's going to fix it, it'll take some 50 years down the line, okay? Where God can fix it quickly. It's just likely you all are just part-time Christians. You only believe in God, when it suits you, okay? I depend on Him with everything. It is only Him that gives me the strength when I have nothing, when I have absolutely nothing and I have everything to lose, that He still will push me to do the right thing. So please take a message from the people you look down on. When I tell you to surrender, please surrender, because the system does not work.